What if I told you that before NASA's Roman Space Telescope can search for distant galaxies, hidden planets, dark matter, and dark energy, it has to survive something much closer to home? It has to survive Earth. It has to survive violent shaking, deafening sound, extreme temperatures, powerful acceleration, and a journey that begins inside some of the cleanest rooms on the planet. And here is the part that really gets me. Roman was not built in a day, a month, or even a year. This telescope represents more than a decade of planning, engineering, testing, and teamwork. So today, we are not just looking at what Roman will see, we are going behind the scenes of how a space telescope is born, who builds it, why it takes so long, and why its journey begins at Kennedy Space Center. Stay with me, because the journey to space is every bit as incredible as the discoveries waiting on the other side. Welcome back to the Watt Hour. I'm William. This is episode 3 of our Countdown to Roman series, where we are preparing for the planned launch of NASA's Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope. The Watt Hour has been selected to participate in the Roman NASA Social at Kennedy Space Center, and I will be sharing independent coverage of this historic mission as we get closer to launch. In the first 2 episodes, we talked about why Roman matters and how it compares with Hubble and the James Webb Space Telescope. But today, I want to take a different path, because when we look at a finished space telescope, it is easy to see a piece of hardware, a telescope, a camera, a spacecraft, but Roman is really something much bigger. It is a physical expression of human curiosity. It is thousands of people, thousands of decisions, years of testing, and one giant question. Can we build an eye powerful enough to help us understand the universe in a new way? And if you want to follow this series all the way to launch day, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications now. Before we talk about building a telescope for space, let's talk about what space really is. When most of us picture space, we imagine empty darkness. But space is not simply nothing. Space is the enormous environment beyond Earth's protective atmosphere. It is filled with radiation, dust, magnetic fields, planets, moons, asteroids, stars, galaxies, and light that has been traveling across the universe for billions of years. And it is an incredibly demanding place to send a machine. On Earth, if equipment gets too hot, you cool it down. If something gets dirty, you clean it. If a part breaks, a technician may be able to repair it. But when Roman reaches its destination near the Sun-Earth L2 region, about 1 million miles from Earth, there will be no repair truck, no hardware store, no quick fix. That means engineers have to think about almost everything before launch. They have to ask, will this component work after intense vibration? Will it work in the cold and heat of space? Will the electronics communicate correctly? Will the telescope stay precisely pointed? Will its instruments remain clean enough to gather the faintest light from distant objects? Space may look peaceful from far away, but designing for space is one of the most demanding engineering challenges humans take on. So who takes on a challenge like that? NASA. NASA stands for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. But NASA is not just one building, one rocket, or one group of astronauts. NASA is a network of people, facilities, research centers, mission teams, scientists, engineers, technicians, software specialists, project managers, communicators, and partners. For Roman, NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland, has managed the mission and played a central role in building, assembling, and testing the observatory. But Roman is not the work of one center or one company. It has involved teams across NASA, research institutions, and industry partners. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Caltech IPAC, the Space Telescope Science Institute, and industry giants like L3 Harris and Teledyne have all contributed to the mission. And that is one of the coolest things about a telescope like Roman. It is not made by one person who has all the answers. It is made by thousands of specialists who each bring one essential piece of the puzzle. One team may focus on optics, another on detectors, another on software, another on heat, vibration, power, communications, contamination control, or the launch itself. Roman is a reminder that the biggest human achievements are usually team achievements. So, how do you make a space telescope? You do not start by building the entire telescope all at once. You start with a purpose. For Roman, that purpose is to help investigate some of the biggest questions in astrophysics. Once scientists define the mission's goals, engineers translate those questions into physical requirements. How much light must the telescope collect? What kinds of light does it need to see? How wide must its field of view be? How stable does it have to remain? How much data will it collect? How will it send that data back to Earth? Then the telescope is built in sections. There is the optical telescope assembly, the mirrors and structures that gather and focus light. There are the science instruments, including Roman's Wide Field Instrument, which is designed to produce broad, detailed views of the cosmos. There is the spacecraft itself, the systems that provide power, communications, movement, temperature control, and the ability to operate far from Earth. Think of it like building an orchestra. The mirrors are not the entire symphony. The camera is not the entire symphony. The solar arrays, computers, antennas, shielding, and software are not the entire symphony. But when every piece is designed to work together with extraordinary precision, you get something capable of turning faint, ancient light into discoveries. And Roman has another important job. It must keep its science instruments stable and protected from unwanted light and heat. That is why the telescope includes structures and sunshields designed to help create the right environment for observing the infrared universe. Now, one question I hear all the time is, why does it take so long to build a space telescope? The answer is simple, because almost right is not right enough. Roman's mission concept was identified as a top priority in a major astronomy survey in 2010. Its design and development continued through the 2010s. NASA completed construction of the observatory in late 2025. That does not mean people were casually taking their time. It means every major decision had to be checked, reviewed, modeled, tested, and tested again. A space telescope cannot be treated like a consumer product where you send out a software update after it ships. Its hardware has to perform after a rocket launches it into one of the harshest environments imaginable. Roman is not a machine that was merely built. Roman is a machine that had to earn the right to leave Earth. Every test asks a question. Can you survive launch? Can you handle the sound? Can your mirrors and instruments remain aligned? Can you function in the space environment? Can every system communicate and work together? The time is not simply spent building Roman, the time is spent building confidence in Roman. And the testing is intense. Roman has been subjected to vibration testing because a rocket launch shakes a spacecraft violently. It has undergone acoustic testing because launch is unbelievably loud. Those sound waves can affect hardware in ways that engineers have to understand before flight. Teams have also carried out thermal testing, electronic checks, deployment tests, and many other inspections. In other words, before Roman ever sees the real ride to space, teams create versions of the environments it will experience. They shake it, they blast it with sound, they test its electronics. They verify that moving parts deploy properly. They make sure the observatory and its systems are ready to work as one. This is not about trying to break a telescope for fun. It is about finding weaknesses on Earth where they can still be fixed. Because after launch, Roman will become a distant observatory operating far beyond the reach of a quick repair. If you are enjoying this behind-the-scenes side of the mission, please hit like. It helps more people discover this series. Now, here is a detail that I think is absolutely fascinating. A telescope built to see faint light from across the universe has an unexpected enemy: dust. Even tiny particles can matter. Roman's instruments are sensitive. A bit of contamination can affect how a spacecraft performs. That is why Roman has been handled and processed in controlled clean room environments. At Kennedy Space Center, Roman is being prepared in the Payload Hazardous Servicing Facility, where teams carry out final work, including inspections, checkouts, and fueling before launch. The facility is designed to control contamination. Teams use protective garments and carefully managed airflow. NASA has upgraded systems there to support Roman's stringent cleanliness needs. It may not look dramatic, but this is part of the drama. The moment a telescope leaves Earth, it carries its final Earth-made environment with it. So every cleanroom procedure, every filter, every careful movement of hardware is part of protecting the science Roman will do later. A telescope that may study billions of galaxies can be affected by something as small as a stray hair or a particle of dust. That is the level of precision we are talking about. So why does Roman launch from Kennedy Space Center in Florida? Kennedy Space Center is one of the world's most important spaceports. It has decades of experience supporting major NASA missions. Roman arrived at Kennedy Space Center after being completed and tested at NASA Goddard. At Kennedy, the mission enters its final launch processing phase. This is where the observatory is prepared for flight, fueled, integrated for launch, and ready to meet its rocket. Roman is currently planned to lift off aboard a SpaceX Falcon Heavy from Launch Complex 39A. And there is another reason Florida matters for many launches. Launching from a location closer to the equator allows rockets to benefit from Earth's eastward rotation when launching eastward. Earth is already spinning, and a rocket can use a small boost from that motion. But Kennedy is not just about geography. It is infrastructure, experience, teams, safety systems, and decades of knowledge built mission by mission. This is where history happened with Apollo and the space shuttle, and now it is where Roman begins its own chapter. When we see a launch, it is easy to focus on the final minutes. The countdown, the engines, the fire, the sound, the moment the rocket rises, and that moment matters. It is unforgettable. But Roman's real story is bigger than launch day. It began years ago with scientists asking what questions humanity needed to answer next. It continued through years of design, construction, testing, and collaboration. And if the planned launch proceeds successfully, it will continue long after the rocket disappears. Roman's primary mission is designed to last 5 years. Launch is the handoff. It is the moment thousands of people who built this observatory give it to the universe. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope is a powerful reminder that discovery does not begin when we receive the first image from space. Discovery begins when people decide that a question is worth pursuing. It begins when teams build the tools to search for an answer, and it continues every time someone looks up and wonders what else is out there. The Watt Hour will be at Kennedy Space Center as part of the Roman NASA Social. I'm William. This is the Watt Hour, and the countdown to Roman continues.